Ninja! Ninja! Ninja!
It's 11:59 at Radio Free America. This is Uncle Sam with music and the truth until dawn. Right now, I got a few words for some of our brothers and sisters in the occupied zone. The chair is against the walls. The chair is against the walls. John has a long mustache. John has a long mustache. It's 12 o'clock, Americans, another day closer to victory. And for all of you out there on or behind the lines, this is your song.
And welcome everybody to our daily gun show, where we come live every weeknight at midnight Eastern, and eventually turn the volume down, and we talk about guns for an hour. So we've got some non-attribution, royalty-free music going on in the background. Just took the puppy out because it's National Puppy Day. So have you petted your puppies out there? It's National Puppy Day. And you're probably not at work unless you're working. So it's National Puppy Day. Took the puppy out, and now we're starting the show. So I sent out links to quite a few people. We'll see if anybody jumps in tonight. Patreon's got links. I think I'll start linking to Patreons each night. And then we'll just take it in whatever direction it goes tonight. Curious, we got 4 people watching, so what parts of the country is everybody in? And stress level. I'm in Arizona, and I really don't know. I could go listen to the radio for a little bit, but I haven't heard anything like alerts or anything. I haven't heard any panic in the streets. Juice has a smoking jacket on. It's always classy. The thumbnail for this is an old El Camino service manual, I think. ThePants. It's also no, it's Juice and Pants. Sometimes I get Pants and Juice mixed up. And then we got DTP. That guy did not have. He was inside the tailgate. So if we go find that picture. Double click on it, close that toolbar, scroll in a little bit. If you'll see that tailgate is up, so that means he's inside the bed and he's crouching in there. So what I'm thinking is this guy was backing up, or maybe driving really slow, this guy. And all of a sudden, boom, there's this guy crouching in the back of his El Camino, and he turns and he's like, what the? And that's when they take this picture. This guy's just driving through some farm or whatever. This guy's like, I'm getting the hell out of this farm. And he's going to jump in the back of the El Camino. He doesn't realize when you jump in the back of El Camino, this guy is going to know it because that's like hundreds of pounds being jumped in the back. For whatever reason, this guy decides, I'm out of here and I'm bringing my empty milk crate with me. So he brought this empty milk crate with him. But you can see that it's obviously empty because of the shading. And he's inside a closed tailgate, crouched down like that. Maybe he thought if he crouches down like this, he won't get seen. But he's like, I won't crouch down right behind the guy in his actual blind spot. I'll crouch down where when he turns around, he'll, I guess, see me. But that he didn't think it all the way through. But yeah, that's the picture from a service manual. They were like, here, this'll make people want to buy this vehicle with a big open back. Nobody will want to jump in there like the picture we have on the service manual. Sorry, I'm coughing over here. Got the virus. I almost fell asleep. I ate some rice, and then I almost fell asleep with the rice loginess, the wheat allergies, the gluten fish. All right, then let's see. So does anyone think this is an overplayed end run for world power? Well, I think that there is the concept of taking advantage of something and running with it for sure, right? And then you're going to have a whole bunch of people that are lazy and want to sit around whenever they can make an excuse to do it, right? And you're going to get all kinds of people that want to use it to their advantage, but how do you get a bird's eye perspective on it? Like, what's the actual way to see the whole playing field. Speculating that there's people playing puppets. Does an ant think that every human's got puppet strings because it's too large entities for them to fathom? We're just regular old ants. The government is big giant people. They got brains and they can walk around with freedom. We're just there to do their bidding. And it's overplayed, I think, from every angle, right? Part of the chess game. Yeah, but again, if there is a chess game, who's playing it? It's more like, wouldn't it be more like just a bunch of Matchbox cars that somebody dumped out of a bin and they're all on the ground in a random order? I mean, I agree that there's a bunch of different parts on the playing field and there's a bunch of different elements or playing pieces. I just don't agree that there's like 2 people playing or that there's even 8 people playing a game of Monopoly or Risk or whatever the hell game, applies. I see everybody playing their own game of Monopoly, right? It's more like a bunch of D&D. We all decide what kind of dice we're going to throw. There's hardly any swords anymore, at least for a minute or two. In the after, we'll have swords. I wonder how many people actually prepped swords for the after. I don't know what you guys are talking about. Probably some video. Pants is doing work from lockdown. So normally you would be going to work, and now you're working from home. Arkansas, not stressed much. And I think there's probably something to how big a city's, right? Like it's got to be different in New York and LA. There's just no way to prep in New York or LA compared to here. You could prep in a house in LA, a house in New York. Is there houses in New York? Yeah, those things like what Archie Bunker was in. Like if you had a house like what Archie Bunker was in, I think that's a house, right? You could prep in there real easy. If you had what the Jeffersons was in, you could still kind of prep, but you'd have to be living on top of your preps all the time, right? Like how many rooms did the Jeffersons have? The living room, the kitchen, whatever room, like that fake room that the camera was always in, maybe a couple of bedrooms. There wasn't no extra room in the Jeffersons, and that's probably a decent sized apartment, right? I was listening to NPR in the before times, probably on one of the tours, and they were talking about how the thing now is because of capitalists, what they'll do is they'll buy a building, and let's say it's a 5-bedroom building with 2 bathrooms or something for like a family. Back in the olden days, that would be enough for a family. Well, now what the capitalists will do is they'll buy that building and then they'll put it to like a 10-bedroom or a 10-unit. And then they'll still have 2 bathrooms in it, but it's like the bathrooms are on the first floor and the second floor, and it's like 10 units. And they'll sell those units to people from other countries, the foreigners who are used to having tiny little metric units. And then they'll live in there. And then what happens is they wail on the plumbing and everything, because obviously there's way more people living in there than it was all planned for. So imagine if something like that is happening. Oh, of course, I forgot to tell you the end of that story is the capitalists that are buying those houses are also from whatever the hell countries, because nobody in this country could come up with such a crazy ass scheme like that. But if somebody who lives in like wherever the hell a stan could figure out like, oh shit, people will gladly pay, $15 to live in a closet, because who the fuck wouldn't, right? So if that kind of stuff is going on, those people ain't prepping, and screw, what the hell are those people supposed to do? Plus homeless people, what the hell are homeless people supposed to be doing right now? They don't prep rice and shit. So there's that love of Grandpa. Good afternoon. Notice how I'm not screen sharing. I'll screen share also. Why not? It's only 9:30 here. Some of you people, it's like tomorrow already. It's like 9:30 here. I'm living California time. This is why California people are so lazy, because they're always living in the past. In the after times, when we're only going to have limited amount of bandwidth, people will quit saying hello to each other. Texts will cost money. Back in the before times, texts were free. When the war starts, I'll shoot tracers. Just yell. Right. So you can't tell your safe word in a chat. That's probably not good tactics. I started out today, but my employer decided we're an essential business. Luckily, my shooting agents also declared themselves. Right on. From what it sounds like, who else was out shooting? Infernus was out shooting in Matt's chat, outdoor shooting range, and they're still open. I seen people walking around today. I was looking out my windows at them. First case at work today. Case of toilet paper. That's good. Sounds like supplies are coming back up. We have 28 cases, if 23,000. I don't know what that means. But we're going to have a shit ton of cases now that they're testing people that are at risk. Because that would make sense, right? We're essential too because we make food. They had a thing about peeps came up somewhere that we don't have to worry about it because they're going to keep making peeps till like Tuesday before they shut down. We'll have enough peeps. Last I seen, Lake County is at a place in Arkansas. My work is exempt from the stay at home and physically at work. Oh, right on. So it's only 9 states or 19 states, one of the two, that has shelter in place orders or whatever. How's everybody doing, by the way? There's only 16 people out here, but we're all friends if you guys need anything. We got people all over the country, right? Got a pretty strong community, so if you need something, let somebody know. There's emails and there's private stuff if you don't want to say it out loud, right? Well, you said people are losing their shit, but earlier you said that it was calm over here. Right here. Not stressed much. So what is it? Lionel, and so did Florence. Well, the parents had their room, and the 2 children had their room. Was there 4 kids? I forget how many people were in the Jeffersons. Oh, you know what? I'm thinking of Good Times and saying the Jeffersons. That's why I keep thinking Good Times. I was thinking of the Good Times apartment, though. But I imagine none of the apartments were different. Good Times went to the right and Jefferson's went to the left. How many people lived? Cast. 1, 2. So you got the parents, the 4 kids, and then you got other people. So 6 people lived in that apartment. You think it tells you about the apartment in here? No, I don't think so. I'll bet you I could figure out a blueprint of the Good Times apartment, though. That's what I'm talking about. Holy moly, is it that big? No. There's no way it was that big. This maybe. This could be it. So this one's 750, 750, 500. What the hell? There's only these 2 that are good. I guess I'll have to take one of these. So this must be the hallway. Stairs? What the hell? They had their own stairs in the kitchen? That doesn't make no sense. Fire escape or something, maybe. But this would have been the living room? Yeah. And then that little, see, I'm considering this the fake room that nobody ever used because the TV or the camera was always in it. They're always like in these rooms, right? So this shows it having 2 bedrooms for 6 people. That's crazy. Imagine if you could zoom in enough, it would tell you who's living in what rooms. Oh, you know what? What's his face lived on the couch. That's why, right? I know we figured it out. See, we got you. We make fuel pumps for jets nobody is flying in. Oh, okay. Oh, well, I'm talking about stress level in the area. And I'm only going based off of like what I hear on the radio and if I hear people yelling in the streets, I guess. Talking to people I know, if they're stressed, if their kids are stressed. I don't think we'll see many zombies, but we'll definitely see a lot of people suffering, a lot of distribution of funds, and that'll probably affect how long it takes to come out of it. Where's anyone seen any good like discussions about consequence? Like anybody looking at how it's going to fold or unfold or twist, or I don't know how to call it, like how it's going to, how we're basically going to a knee, right? Like are they figuring out if we're going to a knee or if we're falling backwards or if we're falling forwards or if we're, just stumbling? Like, is there anybody that's projecting avenues out? Wisconsin is going into quarantine tomorrow. They're calling it safer at home. I went out to help yesterday. Yesterday? Today's Monday still, yeah. Yesterday I went out to help somebody kind of across on the other side of town. And I took the opportunity to help them mainly because I wanted to go drive across town and see what was going on, right? See my friends and stuff. Maybe somebody delivered ammo, maybe somebody didn't. Who knows? So a lot of people out or whatever, but I got to one intersection that, we're a big town and I lived here for a while, so there's no real places you could set up a roadblock or anything that's going to stop anybody from getting anywhere. But there was certainly an intersection that's major, and I come running up to it or driving up to it, and it's completely blocked off, like in a temporary way with a lot, like maybe just enough vehicles to actually do it, 6 vehicles or something. And that was a little bit freaky, but it turned out it must probably been like maybe a bad accident or maybe probably bad enough accident to have 6 emergency vehicles there. So that was a little freaky, but again, it turned out to just be nothing, and they just were allowing anybody to freely move around it. But what are they doing to the streets? What are they get everybody to go in their houses and not go to work? What do they got all the crews doing? All those UN crews that come in from out of state. What are they repairing or fixing, or what infrastructures are they putting in the 5G antennas while we're not looking? You can go outside to exercise. You're supposed to keep a distance from each other. We can buy Peeps, but we can't have Easter parties. Well, what you can do is you can buy Peeps, stick them in your microwave, and then aim your webcam at your microwave and melt them in front of each other. That's still legal. Out of a bunch of people in Louisville, Kentucky, there are 124, and people are getting pretty freaked. The city has shut all non-essential. Well, again, is that 124 people that are sick, like hurting, like in suffering, or is that just like of the potential people who got the tests first, 124, positive cases? Everybody knows everybody's going to get it, so positive cases, I don't know if that's an indication by itself of panic, at least, right? 8 p.m. City is shut on non-essential. I don't know if the city here has done that, but it sounds like that's what's happened, is that 8 o'clock is when stuff gets shut. Everybody closed voluntarily, or just that's when everybody closed. Anybody notice any websites down, or any issues online? Oh yeah, did Florence have her own? She didn't have her own. Oh, you're talking about it on the Jeffersons again. I'm thinking of Good Times again. Shoulder to shoulder, but they had most stuff. What do you mean shoulder to shoulder? You're not supposed to be standing next to each other, like in line? I did have some friends that said they went to the store, had to wait in line because they were basically rationing. And it was one of those things, sort of like when you go, like no one's ever got tickets before. Like you never been to a concert where they've got like, you, done. And then a bunch of people behind that go, duh, because they all were waiting in line for the same 6 days or whatever. And they knew there was only going to be so many tickets. And somebody figured out there's 60 left, and they went down and counted everybody so that everybody else could go home already. It's like that. Like it sounded, that's basically what he told me happened at the big box store. And then he was all bitching and moaning. I'm like, dude, whatever. Like that's how it is. Like that's how they ration, right? So if you're talking shoulder to shoulder out front, then I guess he did have a point. He was like, what the hell? They're going to make us stand shoulder to shoulder out front to then tell us to go home because they don't have anything? And I guess that is sort of a douchebag move. Like, tell people to stand 12 feet apart out front and then yell at them, hey, you guys can go home. There ain't enough for you. I don't know where I was at. So something about shoulders, rubbing shoulders, rubbing somebody's shoulders. So like I say, if it's shoulder to shoulder in line, that could be douchebaggery. But if it's like shoulder to shoulder inside the store, I have not seen that here. And that's got to be a population thing, right? Because there's, at least at this point, everything's still open. So there's, I don't even know, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't even remember how many like dollar stores are still open, but easy dozen stores that I could buy some kind of food at within 20-minute walk of my house and like a no-minute drive. You know, it's just not even to the next intersections, really. To the next big intersections with stoplights and stuff. So there's got to be places where they don't have that amount of stores or whatever per population and stuff like that. On the other hand, what rate is everybody eating food at? Having a whole pantry full of food for 4 kids that are just gnawing through food is different than somebody old who's not eating that much anyway and has a whole pantry full of food. There's been 5 or 6 deaths in the county. All right. You got your patch today, so that'll immune you to it. You don't have to worry about it. What'll happen is the viruses will probably get to you, but they'll get caught on that orange Velcro. And what you do is just kind of flick them off of there, and then you're good to go. You don't have to worry about it. So you could buy hand sanitizer if you want, but you don't really need it anymore. So you got the first of those. I sent one to Angelina. Hers is tweaked slightly because y'all got ones that I was tweaking the color patterns on. So Chris got the first Corona patch. Florence in the machine. I don't remember the machine. I don't know why, but the governor of Illinois has decided printing is essential. Of course it is. Things need to be printed. Salt Lake's St. Louis so far. I would think some of the places like that would be, yeah, they've seen stuff happen before. They're not going to freak out. And you're still, I think pretty much the whole Midwest, right, is even if you're a big city in the Midwest, even Dallas, but maybe not so much Dallas anymore. But certainly like Memphis, maybe not Chicago, but everything else, Indianapolis for sure. All these other cities that are in the middle of like rural, those, they can't forget that they're in the middle of rural. It's easy for New York to act like they don't know what rural is because some of them probably don't. Same thing with LA. Like I could totally see, now that I've seen LA a bunch of times, there's probably people that have never been out of a city before in their lives. They have no idea what it's like to see green stuff, except for in a movie. So I could see somebody in St. Louis not even giving that much of a shit because they've seen a lot. They've actually seen way worse than this before, literally. St. Louis has. How many people are using the Discord, the video game hidden chat room to communicating on? My My issue there is that it's potentially vulnerable with enough kids using it. That's a big draw. That requires a pretty big server, and I don't know what their interest is in staying running in some kind of an emergency. It's never been tested. Nothing's been tested. Let's see. I have a letter in my pocket to show the police if I get stopped driving to or from work. I haven't had a hall pass in a long time. Yeah, what you can do is just put on there that Edge. Often he's in these chats. You could take a screen capture or something. Try to, next time Edge says something, say something right after it. And then you'll have like this, a timestamp, your icon, Edge's icon. If you can say something like @Edge and then he says something back to you, you're good to go. That's basically the same thing as having a picture of your insurance card. They just assume it's legit. Especially now, they don't have the ability to really, run a thing and call them. Seniors allowed in Walmart by them before. Oh, that's only now happening? My 99-cent store already did that. They did it, I think, 7 to 8 or something, because their hours are like 8 to 8 now or something like that. Yeah, all the old people. Probably the old people can't stay up this late. It's possible that they'll watch this early in the morning when they wake up at 4 a.m. and that'll give them enough time between 4 a.m. If they watch this right when they wake up, which they should. Like all my sugar mamas will be watching this right when they wake up at 4 a.m., putting in their teeth and whatever. Then, like, if they watch this and listen to that from the juice right there, they can go over to Walmart at 6 o'clock. And that'll be just enough time for them to haul ass from 4 a.m. to 6 a.m. and get to the Walmart that's like half a mile away. And then they can hang out for like 6 to 7. Do one of them mall walks. Grab a couple of things of water and walk around. Use the water as like weights. Because we care about the old uns in here. I definitely care about the sugar mamas. And I guess whatever dudes out there, I really don't care so much because, especially if you got a rich wife, maybe you guys should eat a lot of bacon and smoke cigars. Drink, get up in the middle of the night, really panicked, and run downstairs, swim, and jump into a cold pool. Or to go into a sauna and then jump into a cold pool. The pants my brother works for is a hardware store. Wait, your brother works for pants? They got the same. So what happened to pants? I think they'd let you go to a hardware store, right? We'll probably end up with some sort of cards, like cards you wear in a badge holder around your neck. And a bunch of weak-ass motherfuckers are going to have weak badge holders. People are going to come up to them. They ain't going to get no play, the ladies. Auto parts are apparently important. Heck yeah, they are. Scared shitless now when I drive around now that we're in the after times because I'm worried about my van's going to break down. Then what do I do? I get coughed on. I've seen on the news tonight that Arkansas has 220 cases, 6 people recovered, and 0 deaths. I really like that. Thank you for reporting it that way, Gun Loving Grandpa. I've seen I started hearing a couple of people do that on the news this morning, and I thought that was pretty good. So thanks for that, because that's what it's all about. The only people, they even tell you, like, only people we want getting the test are the people we think need it. Okay, so the people you think need it most are getting the tests, and then amazingly, you get a bunch of positive results. People are freaking out with that. And here's something I'm going to say, and tell me if I'm crazy or not. I'll leave it on lockjaws here for a second. The media, we already got till the 30th, basically. So if I try to open this up, you won't see it, I guess, huh? I can't bring it over here. I can't. Can I do this? I can do this. So we got, today is the 23rd. So this is supposed to be the 6th day, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. Okay, today's the 7th day, whatever it is. I think I counted it before. The 30th is when it's supposed to be over, right? Maybe 31st, who cares? At whatever time this is, we're going to have media all over the place. And I don't think they're going to have the same kind of, what's the word? Like, what's the word? we're having a something audience, a captured audience or whatever. They've got everybody's attention. And for whatever reason, all the old people, okay, here's Bob, all the old people like Bob, still, that's where they're going to go find out what's going on. Hey, what's going on the news? I'm going to go find out from the major mass media. So they know they've got like this week in there. They got to get all that tension and stress out there. So, and every time I've been saying this to people, they get all offended like I'm saying it about them specifically. I'm not saying that you're getting affected by it, but I think the media sees this as being their last week of like captured audience. And they've got to do as much sweet panic, fear, media that they can offer. They finely tune what people want to hear, and they'll say just what they need to and then be back after that break. And then they'll say just exactly what you want to hear and be back tomorrow with the rest. That's what I think. And I think that, we got to remember that these people are desperate for our eyeballs and to calculate whatever the hell they're learning, because this is all new territory for them. If they can come up and tell Nabisco some better data than Amazon can, or if somebody can tell you how you panic and what you might buy, what did you search for when you panicked, right? Think about that kind of data. That's real data. And we're all going to come out of this and start buying stuff, and all these people are going to come out of this, and after the proposed time, we're going to have some people who are like bursting at the seams. Some of us don't have 2 months worth of, we're living hand to mouth and less. So, it's theoretically great for everybody to sit around for 2 months, but as people start to squirm out of that, because you just can't, there's no possible way, you got to do something. So we'll be working at Walmart, I guess, right? And doing different jobs or whatever. So some people will start getting out, and then everybody will start getting the disease, and it'll either get horrible or it won't. But I'm just thinking that it's not going to be, they think, there's no guarantee that they're going to have another month's worth of your attention. So I think they're getting as desperate as possible in this last week is what I'm getting at. So tell me if I'm wrong or if I'm just being crazy, but I think that they are going to do everything they possibly can to make the news as sweet and sticky as they possibly can to get you right back tomorrow. Where was I at with Lockjaw? I think saying if they kept the liquor stores open, but told me I can't work, I'm going to be pissed. So far, they've been keeping the liquor stores open. I think that makes sense, though. It's not like people congregate at a liquor store. You go there, you get something. I think overall, as much as people want to complain or whatever, liquor is more of a medicine than anything else for most people. I mean, there's obviously people that abuse anything, but I think, generally, somebody taking a shot or just calming their nerves with a beer or something, I think that's beneficial for everybody. Same as the Peeps. They basically said the Peeps were a comfort food, and it's necessary to have stuff like that. Otherwise, you freak out. I need a 2020 bedroom for just me. I don't know what you're talking about. Oh, you're talking about the size of the houses from before, probably. You have to smack the starter on my truck to get it. For years, for like 3 years, I had to go out, and I left it this way intentionally so nobody could steal my car, but I would have to go out and start my El Camino by opening the hood and jumping the starter with the Smith & Wesson knife I had. I'll take a picture of it someday. It's like, I don't know what it looks like. It looks sort of like some kind of a welding tool, because it's all arced from me starting it for a long time at that point. But nobody knew how to start it, and it wouldn't start with any key or anything. I think you had to stick a key in it to unlock the column, but otherwise you could just take the key out or stick a screwdriver in there. I noticed people adapt pretty quickly. It seems the uncertainty is what causes all the stress. Heck yeah. And talk about an opportunity. I was kind of talking about how when we first saw the way that the shelves emptied, and think about this, these shelves aren't being emptied with like absence of awareness. Every AI on the planet is learning right now. And AIs learn once and never have to learn that lesson again. Like, this can't happen again. Period. It can't happen again. The AIs cannot be deceived this way or like fiddled with this way. Like, this wasn't, if it was intentional, maybe you have to talk to Honda about that. But if it wasn't, and this just happened, it can't happen again. The AIs will not let this happen again. And the people running the AIs, will make sure that the AIs can't get screwed with. Something else gets screwed with. I'm not saying it's perfect now, but yeah, the uncertainty is definitely, and I think that's where, we'll see a lot of people. Every time I'll ask it right now. Keep in mind it's 9:48, and what time is it really? So I'm like 20 minutes behind in the texts here. Good ways down, but how long do you think it'll last? I keep asking this. I still think, like I keep saying right now, I think we'll see it start to dwindle immensely on the 30th. I'd be honestly surprised if we see it going still on the 7th. And I know a lot of people say it's going to take months, but I just don't see how that happens for months. At least we won't be having conversations. If it's going to go months, like I'll be offline. I'll be offline. I had to pay my cable bill today, and I'm only paying this month's cable bill. I'm a cable bill behind. So whenever they get sick of me being a cable month behind, or I can't pay a cable bill, just $100, so that'll happen, then I won't be here, at least on the internet. So, I'm saying, like, things won't be the same after too many weeks. So I don't see that being, anyway, you tell me if I'm wrong in the things down below here. So yeah, I believe that's really that's what everybody's concerned about, right? And there's certain people, I think, that get off on the ability to think, right? To sway and to whatever, to influence, right? I don't know if that's the right word, but anybody, somebody can get up and wave their hands around and there's a reaction. There's people that'll just start waving their hands around. It's like when back in the day when there'd be a camera pointed out, somebody's going to start waving around. Nobody needs them to. It doesn't help nothing. It doesn't really hurt nothing most of the time, but somebody's just going to wave their hands around because they can. That's probably a certain amount of it. We just have to get used to ignoring that. There's going to be some people that are going to hoard even when it's not necessary, but once we get past the concept of needing to hoard just because that guy is, this would have never even happened. And think about all the infrastructure that's going to get created and the amount of people that are working from home right now. And not just like, oh, I'm going to take a laptop home, because that's garbage. Somebody was saying, was it in Furnace? Somebody was suggesting that some company should just be able to send everybody home. I worked for Microsoft and AOL. Neither one of those companies could have sent us home. They could have sent people home who had a computer at home, but you don't just click your heels and there's a bunch of laptops that are ready to go. Even if you had a whole bunch of really competent people and you instructed them on how to flash these new computers so that they'd actually have, versions of whatever they do at work. That's unrealistic to think everybody's got one. Now, if there's a company that has a bunch of people already prepped like that and they already work from home, of course, just tell them work from home. But there's no way that you're going to get the kind of stuff we were doing to work from home by just suggesting it. It would have been an actual effort. But that's what I'm getting at. Once that effort takes place and once people figure it out, then it's simple. Then it's super simple. In fact, I think I shouldn't say most. I think a lot of business people, though, would suggest that we would all be better off if a lot of us worked from home. A lot of those jobs where people are wasting a lot of resources and time, their own lives, and just tons of time by them being on the road. They waste everybody else's time, right? And just all the amount of time it takes to bring that extra gas or that extra lunch to them, that kind of stuff was all shifted. We could have some difference, right? So there could be some real potential. So I guess to think, if I had to guess, I think we would okay, so I guess this is you just happened to answer this one earlier. If I had to guess, I think we'll be in quarantine at least until June 1st, even halfway back, before we even get halfway back to normal. So you're saying a full month longer than me? Or no, I'm saying the beginning of April. You're saying to the end of May. That's a long time. I won't be existing. I'd have to go. I don't know what I would be doing. I'd be working for however many dollars an hour if I can afford to drive. I don't think I could afford to drive the van to Walmart for that. I'd have to take the bus to Walmart. And I would be driving the bus for half an hour each way, probably? Hour? Not an hour, probably half an hour. I did an ammo survey last night listening. Probably a good idea. I'd consider taking ammo to people that need it. Because, unless you really plan on having some sort of a battle, good time to make sure you and yours are good to go. Come on down to your local. We gotta find quality starter. Fort Thompson. Oh, I've been to Fort Thompson. Go sent me down there. You've been there then? Gun loving grandpa? In fact, I bought the heater for my van there. I was just telling Bob about it the other day. People in California have been ordered to stay in their tents, like the homeless people. It's interesting. So they must be dragging food out to them more than likely then. I don't know. Out here, there's probably, because it got down to 30 something earlier, a couple of days ago, 40 degrees tonight, I think. They're going to bring people into shelters with 40 degrees and aren't going to leave them outside. Shoulder to shoulder. I think that's from way back earlier. You're saying the Ohio unemployment website crashed. Honda was saying that they crashed the Colorado unemployment site, but that might have just been so that he couldn't use it. They might have turned it back on after they saw that he was done trying. I saw Tombstone Tactical stopped orders to catch up. Website was still up, but people couldn't place orders. I did the opposite on gun or on gear websites. I'm actually not stopped up with orders, so yeah, you can order as much as you want. Even if there's too many, I'll just keep taking orders and your money, and I won't say nothing about it. I'll just keep taking all your money, and then eventually I'll send that stuff. What I'll start doing is I'll start offering free late shipping again, which is one of my incentives when I can't keep up. San Diego shut down the gun stores for not being essential, but kept the pot shops going. Well, I agree with the second part, same as the liquor stores, but the top part, yeah, I would say that's messed up. They did that in New Jersey, and the New Jersey governor, mayor and the governor of New Jersey is like the mayor of anywhere else because of the size. So same as Rhode Island, like the governor of Rhode Island is basically like being the sheriff of a regular city or a state. But whoever the governor, I think, of New Jersey said that they can't do at 4473s. They're already being sued, right? Already have a lawsuit against them. Little did they know that half of those 60 were scalpers. That's interesting. So we have no idea where that comes from. Whenever I'm like an hour behind on the chats, you're going to have to do some sort of a link or something. Store was packed. Just stopped in to thumbs up before I cloak in for work. I don't have a good night. He has to wear a cloak at work. Some sort of a magi, I guess. My folks went to 3 grocery stores yesterday. Nobody had meat. Interesting. Angry, who never shows up for this chat because he hates guns, the Second Amendment, things like that. Everything cool that we do in here. He was bragging about how he goes to some regular butcher. So I don't know if you have a regular butcher in your area, but they might be in a different boat. I know the Walmart here was like that, but it wasn't everything. It was, and then 99-cent store. I don't know if you got a 99-cent only. Where are you at? I can't remember where everybody is. No, you're not. Oh, you're way over there. So if you got something similar to our 99-cent store, you might check because they definitely had like bacon and they definitely had Spam and those kind of things. Well, I shouldn't say that. They had Spam 2 trips ago. I didn't really look for Spam yesterday. But I noticed they had a whole bunch of bacon and that kind of meat and lunch meat, I guess. Things like sandwich, sliced cheese, like what you put on a sandwich. In those packets, like that kind of cheese. They had the kind of cheese, like, I don't know how you do that. Maybe it's crumble it on a salad or something, where it's like in a cottage cheese looking bucket looking bowl thing, but it's like that crumbly kind of cheese. And all that kind of stuff was there. When a bunch of numbers, ammo, summer was numbers 30 cents, around up to 500. Should have stockpiled. Speaking of stockpiling 5.56 ammo, we do have a new sponsor, cheaper than dirt. So we want to thank them. They're a new sponsor for the channel. We'll be working with them probably exclusively. So if anyone would like to get one of their catalogs, it's in PDF and it is gold embossed. You will need to fill out a credit application, and then we'll send you off a PDF. So send your credit information to shooting left to center gmail.com, and then if your credit is good, we'll send you the PDF, special limited edition PDF with the price, the current prices. Strike when the iron's hot. Class is out of here. Everybody knows it. Takes like 6 weeks to get a refund. There's never been a refund from like your website store, so I don't know if you're talking about that. We can't do refunds. It's not possible. That money's spent immediately. I got enough food for a month or two. That's Canadian months, so I don't know what that is. Weeks down here, maybe 7 days. I don't know how long a metric month is. 17 days in a metric week? Something like that. You're right. All right, no problem. Thanks for, again, for all the support. Uh-oh. It's already planning on Charlie's demise. Yep, there you go. All you got to do is say something like that and take a screenshot of that, and you could speed. I mean, I'm not saying you get a hotel room for free. I'm just saying they don't even ask you for your ID or nothing. You just walk right in, take whatever room you want. I usually just go right to the top floor. Yeah, I've never suggested I care about any old dudes unless an old dude is, like I say, kind of right about to kick the bucket and he's wealthy and he's got a sugar mama waiting to happen. Then I'll pay attention for a little while. I was trying to get Bob's sugar mama, but he won't kick the bucket. Yeah, what you're saying about I agree, they thrive on that stuff. And I think that it just seems like it's sweeter and sweeter. I was watching something. I woke up, listened. I have the radio going. I don't know about you guys. What's your strategy now for knowing what's going on? I'm not going to listen to a scanner because I'm not going to get that paranoid yet. But, it's standing by if I need it kind of thing. But I'm listening to the AM radio. And I figure if something goes crazy, AM radio is going to cut in and put that noise out, wake you up, right? That's what it's all about. At least right back from the olden days in the Cold War, when a nuclear bomb was coming over, or an atom bomb was being thrown over here by the Russians, by the communists, they would send an alarm through all of the major medias, and that was basically television and radio. And then you would hear this noise, and they would have big-ass sirens, but they took all those sirens down. Unless you live where there's tornadoes, they don't have sirens anymore. So having an AM radio going, I hear, the regular business as usual in the morning, and it's the channel with our bell in the evening. So that means it's Rush Limbaugh in the morning. So it's the channel that would have, or it's the show that would be on before Rush Limbaugh. So it's basically like a little mini Rush Limbaugh show. But since it was normal, I came out here, checked Instagram and stuff. I figure Instagram would be crazy if it was weird. Instagram is fairly normal. So then I'm opening up the computer and something maybe decide to click on Google News. And what the hell did I watch? Let's say NBC. I really don't know. One of the three letters. They all look the same to me. It was blue. And they literally, it was like a production. Like it was just garbage. It was the one with the Surgeon General who talks all goofy. It's like the Surgeon General. Some make some funny version of woke general. Anyway, listening to that guy blabber, he didn't seem very general-ish or leader-ish at all. He just seemed like kind of wishy-washy. So I'm guessing Trump's going to fire him because I'm pretty sure that's a position that Trump is in charge of, right? I don't think he did a very good job. anyway, just listening to that, and then a little bit of the like reaction, I shut it off. I couldn't deal with the mainstream media, so I'm just going off assumption of how bad they are. I guess I'm not truly watching it, and I've had at least one person tell me they won't listen to me basically because I won't listen to mainstream media because, since I won't listen to it, how can I object to it? And how can I know that it's wrong if I haven't ever listened to it in the first place? But I only got so much time in the world that I'm not going to waste it listening to that to verify that it's been the same as it's been since I've been alive. Or maybe getting worse. Or at least I think I verified it by watching a few minutes of it this morning. Let's see, only the pink peeps, though. Blue and yellow peeps cause anger and tension. Well, the blue peeps are good. Yellow peeps probably are the ones that pee on, right? So nobody wants those. Yeah, the pink ones, you can have all the pink ones. I'll take all the blue ones. Somebody else can have all the yellow ones. We're good to go. AIs caused it. AIs wouldn't fuck around. They would have killed us easier, right? They wouldn't have needed to poke nothing. AIs would have figured out ahead of time. I think it would have been much more obvious if AIs did it. It would have been done right. So you guys are saying yo to each other. Yo convention going on. If it's as contagious as they say, we're just dragging it out so as to not overwhelm the health care system. Exactly. I think everybody agrees with that at this point. However, at least that's the line everybody's been given. However, what are they really doing? Are they reprogramming all the birds? Are they emptying lakes that we don't know about? I don't like being able to not be out, and then they shame everybody to not go out. And eventually they'll have martial law everywhere. And then that'll be weird. And then when do you start turning off martial law? And where are these martial law robots coming from? It's not like we have iRobots where they're walking around and doing the marshalling for the law part. Somebody's got to be the marshal still. And those people are going to get cold too. What are they going to stand 12 feet apart? If you're a bad guy, you're just going to run 6 feet away from both of them, right? There's no way a National Guard guy in all his getup is going to catch some kid running full blast between them, right? That ain't happening. But yeah, I think that's what everybody's wait and see. And that's why I think we're going to see something change here at the end of what I keep saying, what am I saying, at the end of this month, as opposed to, I think we're going to see stuff closer to here next week. That's a whole nother week. Look how far we've come in a week. Back in the before times, that was only a week ago. So, I don't know. We'll see. I was given critical transportation exemption paper at work today. Right on. Well, Lord of Thunder and whatnot. Probably a good idea. You can just jump up above anyway. New Jersey is the proper terminology. I know Tony. I'm going to have scrambled eggs and spam later this morning. Right on. I bought some fish the other day because I watched this thing about salmon. Salmons are made up in Norway or Noraland or someplace. Finland, or I don't know, somewhere where they're have a bunch of fjords, and they take they're like the most efficient protein. They take 1.7 proteins to make one protein, which is literally the most efficient of everything. And they're super clean according to the propaganda movie I watched. So anyway, I was like, all right, I'm going to try this salmon out at Walmart because it was like already old, basically, and I only bought like a little piece of it. Wanted to see what it's like, and then I totally forgot about it. I brought it home because I bought that during the panic, and then stuck it somewhere, and I found it today, and it's like 7 days past its due date or something like that. So I gave it to that dog. She ate it. She liked it. But I had thought about buying eggs, and then I didn't, and I'm glad I didn't because I would have totally forgot about those too. I don't normally have that kind of stuff around. Oh, again, cheaper than dirt, our new advertiser. If anybody would like to get one of their PDF catalogs, you fill out a credit application and send it to shootingleftofcenter@gmail.com. If your credit application is approved, we'll email you out the PDF catalog with all the current prices, availabilities. now's the time. If your credit's right and you got what it takes. You know what they say, if you gotta ask, then you can't afford it. Only the best, cheaper than dirt. Does anyone check to see if the Dolphins are still here? That happens like literally the day of. So, and there was no like announcement or nothing. It says nothing. You should be asking the mice, right? Talking to the mice. Or am I crazy? All right, well, so now we're at 55 minutes and 40 seconds. And nobody's been jumping in. I don't know what to do. I got a couple of sales over at the store today, so I don't know what happened there. It might be from Chris posting the Corona patch, maybe. That's the only thing I saw that went up today, but I was sitting here minding my business and almost had a heart attack because I had the noise go off. And then I double checked, and sure enough, somebody bought a deck of cards, 2 decks of cards actually, a double deck off of the store. So I threw a patch in there because even though it's not Free Patch Friday, and then got that out right as soon as they ordered it. And then a while later, somebody bought another thing. It's been a long time since I've had more than one order in a week, or more than, really 1 or 2 orders in a week. So appreciate. I don't think anybody in here is even the people that ordered. So just saying that to the world, I guess, and whoever might be watching this tomorrow. We went live for a couple of hours today. I don't know if I can keep doing that. At some point, I need to figure out if I'm going to, I don't know how many credit cards. Hopefully, they're going to do one of them things where they quit asking for credit card payments or something. But I'm thinking about going over and buying some roof paint on a credit card. I have a Home Depot card. And one of these days, I'm going to paint my roof again, spend some time doing that. And at this point, at least, we're doing garbage pickups and stuff like that. So I'm going to try to coordinate some yard work and stuff with the garbage pickup. So I'm probably going to gauge it. I've been asking for feedback on whether or not people want live chats during the day. So tomorrow we have the 7 p.m. live chat where we're going to talk about dealing with people with stress or panic. And then start strategy. I got to take some water. Here it changes also with this elevator music. Non-attribution required elevator music. I shouldn't have to talk for a full hour. This is torture. Shave my beard and wear a respirator. No one likes me. Doing the show tomorrow to talk to people about stress and maybe panic or dealing with people that are panicked or whatever the words would be so that they're not panicked. And then how we can start strategizing potentially to take advantage of some of the horrible infractions and is it outrages? I don't know. Whatever they're doing in places like Pennsylvania or Philadelphia and others, individual places like New Jersey. And never let them forget that. Come up with some strategies potentially to start utilizing or capitalizing on all the new gun owners and while we have new gun owners, and that's obvious because they have to fill out a 4473, there's waves of people who are interested in ambassadorship and outreach and reaching the new group of those people and the existing group of those people. So letting people that are out there already creating content, that already have some influence, that already are doing, reaching out to them to suggest to them, if they could aim it towards that or focus on that. And then bringing new people into the mix. And I'll have a pretty diverse group at this point. Sadini, Cheryl Todd, Riding Shotgun with Charlie, a couple other people have already responded, and then I have a couple of possibilities. So it should be a pretty decent panel. And I've got a couple of others who are the medical slash whatever it's called, mental fields. So hopefully we'll get some good insight, some teachers, and there's a bunch of invites. We'll do it on the tube so that it can probably go. We'll try to go 2 hours, I think. And if anybody's got any suggestions or ideas, if you've ever seen an effective, I don't know what to call it, workshop, I guess, about this, my goal is to make it part of the 2A history, 2A media, or to make it part of the Minuteman University and part of the skill building portion of the Minuteman project, so that it becomes a resource for people that want to develop that, whatever that skill set would be called. So if you know anything about, I don't think it would be, maybe it's de-escalation, but I don't think it is. I think it'd just be dealing with people that are stressed, and there's probably applications in all kinds of occupations where people may have dealt with stuff like that. And the goal is to bring a bunch of people together, have a conversation, and then hand pick or cherry pick the things that seem to be applicable, and then maybe throw them out there for a suggestion and see if people use them, and collaborate again after and evaluate and adjust and attempt again. So that we don't just keep going through endless cycles and let the other side, who might have some type of management or leadership experience or ambition, just completely destroy us every time we allow our individual content creators or individual activists to come and go, because they're all part-time and they're all amateur, and the big-time organizations are focused on whatever they do, lobbying or pursuing lawsuits, right? They're all looking at their angle, what they were created to do. And unless we get one who's created to do some of the stuff that individuals have been able to do, and we're just wasting our time. So that's what we're going to try to do tomorrow. It's a big bite, but we've got big people joining, and we'll offer as much as we can in that 2 hours. I'll go live during the day, especially if my Patreons give me some feedback. You're the ones that keep me here. And if I don't get feedback, I'm not threatening nothing. If I don't get feedback, though, then I just don't know what direction to go in. I'll keep doing something, but it'll be probably something I'm interested in. Not quite stressed out, but at some point I'll default to drawing some robots again when I get too stressed out. But before then, if you got some direction, if you like to see something hit, I've got time and interest to work in that direction. All right, well, I'm sick of talking to myself. Nobody said anything out here now for, as long as that 34, almost 10 minutes. So I'm not here for speeches. Thanks everybody for showing up though and participating in the chat. I'm going to end and try to wrap it up. I usually spend another 4 hours after this working on projects, but since everybody's offline, it's a little less interrupted type of projects. So I'm off to do that. That's why I'm usually rushed at the end. If the show isn't doing anything, now I'm burning into my actual usable time. I'll usually throw a movie on or some music and dig in and start an actual project. Depending on how tired I am, I'll drink some coffee. Today I'm going to let myself fall asleep, so no coffee, but I do have a couple of things I'm going to jump into. So thanks for our Patreons for making it possible. Thanks to the people who are silently watching this show. What, 30 minutes? What does that mean? 30 minutes. See, I'm looking at the time right here. 10:28 was the last one over here, and then 10:34. So that was basically 6 minutes, which was close to 10. So it was close to 10. Maybe not 30, it was 10. I was telling my friend something about gas the other day. I go, yeah, gas is $1.19. And he about flipped his gizzard out of himself. And then I'm like, oh, I'm sorry, I meant $2.19 or whatever. But yeah, he was about to leave his wife and go on a road trip because he thought gas was $1 cheaper than it was. Sometimes when you're maybe dyslexic, I don't know, or just not paying that much of attention, you miss a number here and there. Big deal. So with that, we're an hour in, and nobody joined us. So I'm heading out. We'll be back to pick you up later. It's like 2:14 here at a good station. Probably I could get it for like $2.09 if I had some kind of gas club or something like that, one of them grocery store clubs. All right, thanks everybody. Stay safe. Remember, there's a big network of two-way people. Reach out, let people know if you need something. Let people know if you got something to offer. I definitely know a bunch of the people that are in here have either helped me already or do help me or have reached out while I've been on the road. So thank you for that. But we're a big family. So thanks for everybody for being what we are.